Today's video is sponsored by the new Canadian punk rock band, Go Canuck Yourself.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
Who's ready to see birth control sales skyrocket? I love me a good killer kid flick. The genre is scary because children have always been seen as innocent and people that need to be protected. So when you turn that on its head, it can be very frightening when done right. So today we're going to take a look at my top 10 favorite killer kids movies. Parents, get ready to be terrified of your children. Even more. A few honorable mentions before we get started. First off, The Exorcist. Many people would say that Regan is one of the creepiest kids in horror, but that movie doesn't really fit the genre. Regan is the victim of that movie. She's the main victim. It's the demon possessing her that's the villain. So, for me, it doesn't really count as a killer kid movie, because for me, for it to be a killer kid movie, the kid has to be evil. Then there's The Pit, which is this fun, campy movie about this demented 12-year-old who talks to his teddy bear and finds a pit in the middle of the woods filled with monsters. Naturally, he feeds people to them.
I'm sorry about that, Miss Oliphant. But like my father says, we all have to go sometime.
I can't call it a good movie, but it is very entertaining. And finally, Children of the Corn. I know, this should be on the list.
Don't just sit there. Seize him, punish him, cut him down, I command you.
I tried finding a spot for it here, but there were just other movies that I liked a tad more. So you have two choices. Either put Children of the Corn anywhere you want on this list, or sacrifice me to He Who Walks Behind the Rose. And with that, let's get started. Number 10, The Children.
Mommy! Ellen!
These kids are not of the corn. We have this busload of school children that drives through this strange yellow smoke that turns them into atomic zombies that burn people alive with their hands. Not only is this a good creepy kids movie, it's also a unique zombie movie. Unlike the flesh-eating kind, these zombies hug people to death. The only way you can tell which kids are deadly is their fingernails. They turn black when these kids go bad. It adds an extra element of suspense because there's random moments when kids reach out to hug their parents.
Daddy.
How you doing, Slugger?
We get a good body count, the kills get a little repetitive, but the tension makes up for that. Not much else to say about this one. It's a simple premise with some good creepy moments. This is a fun movie for zombie fans who are looking for something different from the typical zombie fare.
Oh, my God!
Daddy.
Number 9, Eden Lake. One of the more intense killer kid movies. Eden Lake is the kind of movie that takes your emotions and kicks them right in the testicles. We've got a young couple having a romantic weekend at where else, Eden Lake, only to run into a gang of violent preteens.
That's my phone.
Oh, Steve.
I got the same ringtone as me as
Steve!
The kids in this movie are absolutely sadistic. They do it all, from beating people down to setting them on fire. It has that element of survival horror. These two pissed off this gang of preteens, and now they want them dead. I like dirty, gritty horror movies, and this one has a good amount of grit. These characters get covered in mud, blood, and sweat. The tension builds and builds as things get worse and worse. It all leads to an ending that's a real punch in the gut. Eden Lake is a movie that will stick with you. If you're on vacation and you run into anybody under 15, run!
Come on.
Number 8, Orphan. This one's gonna contain spoilers, so if you have not seen The Orphan, either pause this video and go watch the movie, or skip to number 7. This has one of the best performances in a killer kid movie. For those who've seen the movie, you know the plot. A family adopts a little girl named Esther, and she turns out to be a psychotic demon spawn.
Is it really what you want?
Wait! What are you doing? Are you crazy?
The plot isn't the most original when it comes to killer kid flicks. It has all the elements that fans of the genre are familiar with. Kid does evil things, one of the parents knows the kid is evil, nobody believes the parent, evil shenanigans ensue while the parent looks crazy.
Phantoms. Fetal movement. For 16 days, I carried my dead baby inside me. Esther. It was the cruelest torture I could imagine.
What sets Orphan apart is the performances of all the actors, especially Isabella Fuhrman, who plays Esther, and the twist ending. Esther is just such a creepy character. Watching her manipulate the other children, deliberately injuring herself to make the mother look abusive. But what makes her performance all the more amazing is when we find out that she's actually a grown adult with some kind of growth disorder.
Why was she at your hospital?
She's dangerously ill. Violent. She killed 7 people that we know of.
Oh my God. How could she fool us?
She's been passing herself off as a little girl for most of her life.
What sucks is someone spoiled this movie for me before I got to see it, but the way they filmed this scene is so damn good. So this girl isn't just playing an adult, she's playing an adult who's pretending to be a little girl. If it weren't for the character of Esther and the performance the actress gave, I don't know if Orphan would have made the list. Sometimes it just takes the right actor in the right role to take a movie to another level. Number 7, The Bad Seed.
I don't care how small it was. Did you have anything to do with the way Claude got drowned?
What makes you ask that, Mother?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was the original Killer Kid movie. Let me know if there were others that came out before this. The Bad Seed has a long and interesting history. In many ways, it has a lot in common with Dracula.
Children of the night, what music they make.
Both movies started out as popular books, and both were made into stage plays before they were made into movies. Just like with Bela Lugosi's Dracula, when watching The Bad Seed, you can see it as a stage play. That's part of the charm of this movie. So much of the scary shit happens off screen. It's kinda remarkable that this movie can be so suspenseful and creepy while showing almost nothing. You hear about a lot of the deaths, or you hear someone screaming. Most of the time, it's just someone talking about how someone died in a scene that you never see in the movie. Rhoda is the original demon child. We wouldn't have Esther without her.
Isn't she a little sweetheart?
Thank you.
That's the kind of thing that makes an old bachelor wish he were married.
Oh, you like little girls?
Never trust a girl who curtsies. If you see a little girl curtsy, take her out. The fact that we don't actually see the murders creates this sense of uncertainty. We know she's not the sweet little girl that she appears to be, but we don't have any real proof that she's a monster. As the movie goes on, we see more of her twisted nature. She's not some supernatural entity. She's not an adult in a child's body. She's just a little girl who was born bad, a spoiled brat that wants everything her way.
Better give me those shoes. They're mine. Give them back to me.
I believe you did it.
This usually can make a Killer Kid movie annoying, but here, it works. The Bad Seed is a very simple movie that manages to do so much without showing a lot. I salute the original Killer Kid movie. or what I think is the original Killer Kid movie.
Mommy, don't let me get my hands on it. You didn't see it. Did you know you could turn away? And did you know you could turn away? And you could say something else. What has she done?
Number 6, Bloody Birthday.
Debbie? What's wrong, Debbie?
Here's an underrated slasher from the 80s. 3 kids, born on the exact same day, at the exact same time, during a solar eclipse. Cut to 10 years later, these 3 kids have become friends, and these 3 friends have become homicidal. We've got Steven, Debbie, the leader of the group, and Curtis, the kid who steals the whole show. What I like is that these kids aren't just spoiled brats. They're just twisted. Debbie charges kids to watch her older sister get undressed, Curtis likes killing people, and Steven is there too. Bloody Birthday has this enjoyable quirkiness to it. It has that low-budget charm. What sells this movie is how much these kids love to do wrong, and it's left vague why they're like this. Sure, it's hinted that the solar eclipse had something to do with it, but we never really know. I say pop this in if you're in the mood for a forgotten 80s slasher.
What did you do?
Nothing.
Number 5, Village of the Damned. Get a group of kids, give them white hair, put them in suits, have them speak with British accents, and your movie is instantly creepy. Giving them psychic powers is just upping the ante. As important as the bad seed is, I think Village of the Damned is just as, if not more, influential. Whenever people think of creepy kids, the image of a bunch of little weirdos in suits is what usually comes to mind. Just like with Bloody Birthday, there's an air of mystery. The plot follows a small California town where one day, all the humans and animals fall asleep at 10 a.m., and then they regain consciousness at 4 p.m. No one knows why this happened, but what's even stranger is that 10 of the women in the town are now pregnant.
Right, so it's not a monster, it's a perfect specimen. But what does that tell me?
You're going to have a baby.
Whose baby? Yours?
We flash forward to when the kids are older, and now they're terrorizing the town with their strange powers. It's such a frightening situation. This little town is being held hostage by these kids. They can read minds and control them as well, forcing people to kill themselves. Everyone's trying to figure out what these kids are. Aliens? Maybe. Demons? It keeps you guessing throughout, and builds to one hell of a tense ending. This is a quality 60s horror flick. Just ignore the 1995 remake by John Carpenter. I love you, John, but that movie was forgettable. Number 4, Ills, aka Them, not to be confused with the giant killer ant movie from the 1950s. Remember The Strangers from 2008? Well, in 2006, we got a French home invasion movie called Ills. And if you ask me, it's the scarier of the two. We follow a young couple in their isolated country home. One night, they wake up to a strange noise. When they investigate, they're terrorized by a group of hooded figures. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler because the fact that these attackers are a group of kids is kept as a surprise until the third act. but knowing that going in does not ruin the movie. Plus, you could have already guessed that due to the topic of this video. This is one of the most intense home invasion movies I've ever seen. The entire movie is from the perspective of the young couple. We see everything as they see it, which leads to some stomach-churning suspense and some well-done scares. Once these kids start terrorizing the couple, things do not let up. What I really love about this movie is the pacing. It's only 77 minutes long, so it's a quick sip, but nothing feels rushed. It's very efficient with its time, and the third act is one of the most heart-pounding in-home invasion movies. If you liked The Strangers, then I highly recommend Ills. It will make you jump at any strange noise in your house. Number 3, who can kill a child? If I had to pick the most underrated movie on this list, it would be Who Can Kill a Child. We follow a couple on vacation in Spain. They travel to this island village, only to discover that all the kids on the island have gone mad and killed all the adults. Once again, this movie works because of the mystery behind it. We don't know why these kids are killing adults. Nowadays, so many horror movies have to explain everything. When you leave things vague, it can make the threat even scarier. What's life without a little mystery? These are some of the creepiest kids in the genre. They don't talk, they just kill with a smile on their face.
Tom! What's she doing?
Many killer kid movies have the moral question about killing children, even if they're evil. But here, it's at the forefront of the story. Some of the best horror movies kick you right in your comfort zone. Who Can Kill a Child is a gem in the killer kid genre. Give this one a watch. It deserves a bigger audience. Number 2, The Brood. Always happy to sneak some body horror on a list. During the 70s, David Cronenberg got his start in body horror with 3 underappreciated movies: Shivers, Rabid, and The Brood. Not only do we have some creepy mutant kids, but we have Oliver Reed and Samantha Eggar giving great performances.
Mummies don't do that. Mummies don't hurt their own children.
They never do.
Sometimes, when they're bad mummies, they're fucked up mummies.
Oliver Reed plays this psychiatrist who's experimenting with this new psychological technique on his patients. Samantha Eggar plays Nola, his star patient. Throughout the movie, there's this string of brutal murders being committed by these weird, deformed children. We soon find out that Nola has children that are physical manifestations of her rage, most of which is directed at her ex-husband for trying to take their daughter away. Samantha Eggar gives one hell of a scary performance. She has a fantastic death stare. When that look is on her face, you know someone's going to die. And these deaths are brutal. These mutant kids don't just kill people, they beat them savagely. What makes these kids so scary is that their sole reason for existence is attacking whoever their mother is mad at. There's no other motivation, just killing for mommy. The Brood is one of Cronenberg's best movies. Most people talk about his 80s flicks like The Fly and Videodrome. Great movies. I just wish more people would talk about his 70s movies. Check them all out, but start with The Brood. And so, we've made it to my final pick. It was so hard picking my #1 movie. It goes back and forth between The Brood and what I got here. But in the end, when it comes to evil kids, you can't beat the Antichrist. #1, The Omen. Here's something that's gonna make a few people mad. I actually like The Omen more than The Exorcist.
Stick your cock up her ass, you motherfucking worthless cocksucker.
Be silent!
Put the torches and pitchforks down. I can't help it. I love The Omen. First, you have Damien, the creepiest kid in horror. But he's not trying to be creepy. What I find fascinating about Damien is that he doesn't do much evil stuff throughout the movie. Sure, he does something bad here and there, but for the most part, he's not doing a lot. But all the evil shit is happening because of him. The theme is one of the scariest in horror. When the opening credits roll and you hear that chanting, you just feel wrong. Like you know things are going to go bad. One of my favorite scenes, and the one that gets to me the most, is when the nanny kills herself.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
And it all starts when that dog shows up. Once Damien bonds with the Hellhound, all hell breaks loose. Pun 100% intended. But all the kills in The Omen stand out, including one of the best decapitations. And it's all set up with these photographs. Each picture has these little flaws, the omens of the title. Once you piece this together, you're on edge, because you know once you see one of those flaws, someone's going to die. The nanny, Mrs. Baylock, is just as scary as Damien. Like Nola, she has a good death stare. Staring contest from hell right here. I love every element of this movie. The music, the Hellhound, the nanny, the kills, the ending, all tied together with the son of Satan himself, Damien. For me, there's no question about it. The Omen is the best killer kid movie of all time. In my opinion. Well, there you have it, my top 10 favorite killer kid movies. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and that you parents out there don't conceive any demon spawn. As always, I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting this channel. Thank you for all the kind words in the comments section. Just thank you so much. Let me know some of your favorite killer kid movies down below. I'll try to keep making good content for you guys. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. Now I'm going to make it so I can't have kids. What the hell am I worried about? I'm sterile anyway.